So let's see, pre-game show here, more kind of books related today. So I am reading this, I started reading this, All the Lovers in the Night by Mieko Kawakami. And this is lovely. It is one of these sort of like urban slice of life stories of somebody sort of like from not from an office lady specifically, but from sort of like that perspective, that level of sort of employment, sort of freelancing, not kind of. I mean, yeah, just kind of making your way in the world as a worker and in an office environment. And what's the other one that I read lately that's like this? It was by a woman who was running a thrift store, Nawakawa thrift store? I don't remember. Anyway, it's got the same kind of vibe. Oh yeah. Well, fortunately, the PS3, the Slim, is a little bit better with that, so I'm not too concerned about that one for this one. But yeah, so this is good, and I'm looking forward to reading it. The one that I want to talk about is this, John Bellairs, who is a favorite of mine from when I was a wee one. So, you know, I moved around a lot when I was a kid, and one of the things you learn to do, one of the things that I learned to do is, because you kind of get tired of making new friends every place you go, is you make friends with libraries, and libraries are great places to go. Evening Mahafun, talking about libraries. And so when I moved to South Carolina, I made friends with the middle school library and found my books there. And this author, John Bellairs, was key to sort of kind of settling into the place, and I always had very fond memories of his work. So I decided to revisit it and see if it was in fact as you know, just kind of to see how it matched up against the memory. And I'm actually reading this stuff, and I'm actually seeing how really formative it was, besides the fact that the sort of like hyper-precise quality of certain occult styles of writing that follow an internal logic that isn't evident and maybe bound by time and the certain lore of a place. That aesthetic is definitely firmly established here. And also my preference for contrasting two things that are extremes in a single unit or a single kind of moment or entity or character. And these books absolutely do that, and I'm going to show you one here. But first, these books introduced me to the artwork of Edward Gorey, who has since become well known and beloved for his gothic sort of very, very detailed pen and ink style drawings. And Gorey seemed to take a real liking to these books when he was an illustrator for, I think it was Penguin. This is Bantam. I don't remember who he worked for, but he was an illustrator of book covers for quite some time. All of the drawings that he made for John Bellairs' books, they accurately reflected the content of the stories. So Gorey read these, and he found the most visually evocative parts, and he used those for his illustrations. And, you know, as a kid, you don't think, like, that, you know, a cover illustrator might sort of cynically dash off an art piece and throw it, you know, well, I imagine this book is probably like this picture I've drawn, so here, use that. And as an adult, I respect that level of that sort of integrity, that artistic integrity. And as a kid, it just absolutely made the cover and the insides make sense. And Gorey, of course, brought his sort of typical weirdness to it. Let's see. So here's the back cover. This is a paperback. And so you can see the on the back cover. They show you both images that would have appeared on the hardback had you opened it up like this. And on the left side there, you see a wizard who has captured Johnny Dixon, our slightly asthmatic, nearsighted hero, and who is laying him on a table so that a featureless crystal robot can observe him as the wizard is about to kill him horribly. And Gorey chooses these moments to illustrate, which is just like, it's great. He knows what makes Bellairs Bellairs, and I'm going to show you one of the things that does that. So this is young adult fiction, right? So you have your typical young adult feelings of like insecurity, dealing with the stress of a situation, comparing yourself to your friends, and like, so you've got things like this, you know, somebody recommends that Johnny, they go break and enter somewhere, and he's like, Johnny started getting fidgety. He was always terrified of doing something illegal, but he didn't want Fergie to think he was chicken. But he glanced up at Fergie, saw he was looking nervous too. So, these are kids, right? This is like 12-year-old boys, not really sure if they want to do the thing that they're being prompted to do, but sort of feeling like they should. And so there's that. That's realistic young adult stuff. Then it's a mystery, so it's kind of Hardy Boys-esque. It's, at the top of the paper, the number 896 was scrawled in ink, and below it a name was stamped in ornate Victorian letters, Chigwell's Pawn Shop. What the devil? Said Fergie quietly. At first Johnny said nothing. He threw a nervous glance over his shoulder at the dark grandstand, then he closed his fist tight around the little box, we better go show this to the professor. So, one second, I want to punctuate this. So you have this, and then the book goes here. How you may make a statue that will work for you. Take the eyes from a living human and pack them in myrrh, cassia bark, and aloes. Then say over the eyes the prayer of Cagliostro, and offer incense to Asmodai. After 40 days, the eyes will become like glass and may be used to make a statue come to life. Be warned: do not place the eyes in the head of the statue until you have made the key of Arbaces. The key will allow you to control the living statue. Without it, the creature will become wild and uncontrollable, and in the end, it will murder you, its creator, if it can find you. By using the key properly, you can make the statue do tasks for you, pass through walls of stone and steel, and even kill those whom you hate. I will add that... So, it completely swings from your normal young adult fiction, social anxiety, Hardy Boys mysteryness, to just hard occultism. And this is the thing that makes Bellairs so compelling. The notion that there is this sort of there actually is this dark reality that you as a child cannot fathom, that is beyond your awareness, but the majority of your life is about your normal day-to-day awareness and your normal anxieties and fears, but this other darkness is still there. So having been an adult, having sort of followed up on a lot of this stuff as an adult to kind of see what the, Old English medicinal recipes and these sorts of things back when magic and medicine were considered the same thing, Bellairs is actually sourcing this stuff accurately, and that is what amazes me. As an adult, looking at him as a creative individual, and now that I'm older than he was, I think, when he died, so looking at him as a peer, I'm really impressed that this guy did his work. and so it's amazing stuff. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. Yeah, I recommend them. They're really quick reads, and they are as good. They're a different kind of pleasure than, when you're a kid reading Kids Lit, but I think they're still enjoyable now. The plotting is tight, the writing is good, and again, that sort of hard swing back and forth from the mundane to the extraordinarily gothic is pretty intense. I never saw that, War of the Worlds. I've heard the radio program, but I haven't seen his illustrations of it. S.E. Hinton's Rumblefish. S.E. Hinton. Is he the translator of Chinese? No, that's David Hinton. No, I have not read Rumblefish. What is Rumblefish? And while you are answering, I am going to fire up Demon Souls. Yeah, I remember, gory as admittedly dark as Gory is in his subjects and the way that he illustrates them. I always found Gory very comforting in times of frustration and sadness, and I think that really having that kind of mood reflected in art like that goes a long way toward feeling like that friction, that essential friction between your mood and what the rest of the world seems to be doing is a little bit, there's a little more of a match there when you can find art that fits it. Oh, interesting. I will look for that. Rumblefish. Wrinkle in Time was good stuff too. I actually missed Wrinkle in Time. Oh, hold on. As a reader, I was that was part of the Scholastic Book Fair, just a little bit after I would have been the target audience for it. I mean, it existed. I just didn't get to it in time.